explain in our introduction to the business model that the value proposition is about the who and the what. There are different aspects of the value proposition to envisage, which we are going to develop in the forthcoming videos. In this first video, I'm going to talk about the who part of the value proposition. In the second video, I will talk about the what and present an overview of different types of value propositions. In the third one, Laurence will show examples of game-changing value propositions. And in the last one, I will show you a very interesting and useful tool called the value curve. So first, let's talk about the who. In other words, for whom is the value proposition? We're going to start with an example from the service sector, the luncheon vouchers, and more particularly those issued by the company Edenred under the brand Ticket Restaurant in France. Luncheon vouchers are given to a company's employees to pay for their lunch. They can be used at affiliated restaurants, fast food chains, bakeries, and supermarkets. These shops have entered into a partnership with Edenred and have agreed to accept the vouchers branded Ticket Restaurant. Many times, the luncheon vouchers are co-financed between employees and employers. They are therefore an employee benefit. It's a company decision to give luncheon vouchers, and it's often considered as a side benefit. Luncheon vouchers are part of what is called prepaid services to enterprises. Let's analyze for whom is the value proposition of Ticket Restaurant. We have many beneficiaries to consider, and in fact 3. The most obvious client is, of course, the company that buys this prepaid service. Then we have to consider the employees who use the vouchers. And of course, the affiliated restaurants and other eating places. The primary client of Ticket Restaurant is the company, the employer that buys in bulk luncheon vouchers for its employees. The value proposition to companies is an easy and convenient way to ensure that your employees can have lunch close to their office without managing a company cafeteria. And the price paid is a percentage of the Ticket Restaurant's value, around 4%. As for the employees, the value proposition of Ticket Restaurant is a flexible way to have lunch and a benefit. And finally, for the partner restaurants and food stores that accept the vouchers, the value proposition is grow your business thanks to a new way of payment. The Ticket Restaurant case illustrates very well what the who of the value proposition is, not as simple as it seems. In many cases, value propositions are complex. They are actually a combination of several value propositions for several stakeholders, among which we will find the clients. So in order to understand a value proposition, one must consider all stakeholders. Let's look at some other common examples through a little quiz. First, the example of food and drink manufacturers such as Nestlé or Unilever, Sara Lee or Coca-Cola. How many who should we consider to grasp fully their value proposition? 1, 2, 3, or more? These companies have, of course, a value proposition for consumers, but have also a value proposition for their retailers, through which they sell. A second example are pharmaceutical companies. How many who should we consider to grasp fully their value proposition? 1, 2, 3, or even more? To answer the question, let's take the example of an insulin pen. There is a value proposition for patients, of course, who use the product, for doctors who prescribe it, for pharmacists who sell it, and for healthcare personnel or family members who sometimes administer the insulin. The answer is therefore more than 3. So now I'm sure you will be curious and investigate to find more about the who of the value propositions you will encounter. In our next video, we will discuss the what aspect of the value proposition.